Hey guys, how you doing? This is Night Sky. This is part 2 of the video where we enter into the engagement phase. If you have not seen the first part, click on the link below. In the last video, I proposed that a good approach play is one that maximizes your options and minimizes your opponents. So if you are flying 4 ships totally tunneled in by a continuous line of asteroids on both sides, uh, you have 0 options. It will be easy for an opponent to engage you in a hugely advantageous position. While the scenario is exaggerated, many rookie pilots don't think about minimizing opponents' options and maximizing your own options during the approach phase. So sometimes the first round of combat can be really brutal because your opponent is engaging you exactly the way he wants to. The game is really over after 1 or 2 rounds, and you see a lot of this kind of gameplay when at the rookie level. Having options is important, but options are only useful if you know what to do with the options. So what factors affects your decision making during this mid-game engagement phase? When we transit from the approach phase of the game towards the engagement phase of the game, the first thing we need to think about is the target priority. This is an easy concept to learn and also a very important concept. There are 2 ways to determine target priority. The first way is the power to squishiness ratio of your opponent's ships, right? This will tell you the ideal target to engage. The second factor is the board state. While power to squishiness ratio gives you the ideal target to engage, you need to factor in the board state at the time to determine the actual target you should be engaging. So let's start by talking about power to squishiness ratio. So in this scenario, Tokyo Max has the largest power to squishiness ratio, followed by Kirax. How do I determine this power to squishiness ratio? So Tokyo is worth 27 points. His pilot ability is very dangerous. TLT and box crew gives it a very scary firepower, but it has only 5 hit points and 2 agility dice. So it's very powerful, but it's very squishy. So such powerful 27-point ships with light defenses will put it number 1 on the power to squishiness ratio. So it is the ideal priority target. However, looking at the board state, there are 2 reasons not to engage Tokyo. Right. Firstly, the Kirax, which is also has a high power to squishiness ratio. One of them has down to 1 hull, and shooting at it first with my PS6 pilot would deny it a dangerous range 1 shot. The second reason not to engage Tokyo is that Tokyo is very well shielded. Now, of course, my opponent is a competent and experienced player, and he understands the concept of priority target as a key factor of this mid-game engagement. So even though if you talk to him, he may not be able to use the words engagement phase or priority target or power to squishiness ratio in explaining what he's doing, or maybe he might. The way that he has split his ships demonstrates that he fully understands these concepts. Now I want you to look at where he has placed his Tokyo Max HWK in this approach. His Tokyo Max is engaging right at the back with rocks shielding the ability of my squad to drive straight at him. In the last video, we talked about restricting opponents' options in the approach phase, and right now I do not have the option of turning my guns at his Tokyo Max priority target with the highest power to squishiness ratio. Now, is this a big deal? In the next 1 or 2 videos I put up, I will show you another game I played where I found myself in a situation where I was able to engage the squishiest ship in my opponent's list. Now, I think it can be pointed out that playing this way, he will not be able to use Tokyo Max pilot ability on turn 1 of combat, even though he's still able to shoot. But I think it's better for him to be able to use Tokyo Max pilot ability for the next 2 or 3 rounds, rather than use it for 1 round and have it just die. So even though Tokyo is the pilot that my IG assassin droid is employed to hunt, that is, he is the theoretical priority target,
In this situation, the Kirax fighters are the correct target to move into shooting positions especially the damaged Kirax fighter. Now you would agree it is insane for me to drive my squad forward just in an attempt to shoot at Tokyo. Even if I could somehow manage to clear the rocks, I would be eating range 1 shots from the Kirax fighters, and Tokyo will probably have asteroids shooting him from my shots, and I will be exposing my own priority target, the IG and the Y-wing to him. So here we can see the difference between the theoretical priority target, which is the ideal target that you want to engage, versus the situational priority target, which are the ships that you end up shooting at based on the positionings determined by the approach play. Now, of course, the fact that one of his Kirax fighters has only one hull left makes it kind of like a no-brainer. Obviously, I want to destroy that Kirax fighter with my PS6 IG before his Kirax fighter gets to return a range 1 shot at one of my ships. On the flip side, my IG is worth 52 points. That is the points of 3 of his ships. It clearly does not have as much HP as any 3 of his ships, though it has 3 green die and auto thrusters to defend it. So I took a focus action and used my Y-wing to block it from moving too far forward. My Z95 is not a priority target for him, so I took a 3-shot maneuver to gain a range 1 shot on his Kirax fighter. At the same time, I'm also tempting him to shoot at my low priority Z95 at range 1 if he so chooses to. I'm okay with it. My IG overkills the 1 hull Kirax, almost a guaranteed result with the Predator rerolls and the Gunner ability. Tokyo shoots at my blocking Z95 and deals 2 hulls. His block Z95 decides to shoot at my Y-wing at range 1. He deals 2 damage, removing 2 shields. The Kirax shoots at range 3. Yeah, he got 3 natural hits, and I blocked 2 of them, so I took 1 damage. He shot at range 1 of my Z95, even though he had a target lock on my IG, because at range 3 auto thruster he did not want to take that shot. He took 2 shields off my Z95s. I returned fire with my Y-wing twin laser turret, and I deal a total of 1 shield damage to his Kirax. A speculative shot at range 3 by my Z95 without tokens, 1 hit. He flashed totally, so I got a shield. Range 1 shot by my Z95 on his Kirax dealt no damage. So we are on to the planning phase for round 5. So let's look at the situation right now. He has lost a 20-point ship, and I have taken damage on all my wingmen. My IG is still undamaged, and so is his Tokyo. My plan is to take out his 4 hull Kirax on the left through a combination of HLC and TLT fire. And I need to minimize or eliminate the number of range 1 shots that he can take at my IG or my Y-wing. My Z95s are there to control the space and maybe deal 1 or 2 damage to the Kirax or the Tokyo. As for my opponent, he has positioned his Tokyo in such a way I cannot swing my HLC on it, so he can safely swing in with his Tokyo marks. The Kirax on the right has taken a target lock in preparation for moving in for a range 1 shot on my IG, but thankfully the small rock is blocking his 2 forward move, so he is likely to do a 1 bang left or something like that. The Kirax on the right is likely to take a maneuver to close into my IG. However, he may take a slow maneuver so as to be able to get shots even if I do a boost S loop or K turn sequence towards the left. His Black Sun Ace is almost going to K turn. Now the best maneuver for my IG to take would be a boost
K-turn or S-loop sequence towards the left of the map. But as I said earlier, I'm afraid that this maneuver will get blocked by my opponent's Kirax if he moves slowly. So I decided to take a one forward maneuver with my IG. Now if he played in such a way to punish my one forward maneuver, then I will pop my inertia dampeners. On the other hand, if he played in such a way to punish my boost K-turn S-loop maneuvers, I will go ahead with the one forward and punish him for trying to block my boost K-turn maneuver. Having decided on the maneuver for my IG, I decided to hard turn right my Y-wing away from any close range fire from his Kirax and out of range 3 of his Torque. If I do not do that, there is a chance that my Y-wing will go down under one turn of fire from his Kirax and Torque, and if that happens, I would have lost a lot of my firepower. I will only be left with my IG to deal consistent damage. At this point, you can see that he did not bother to block or punish my boost and S-loop or K-turn sequence. Instead, he anticipated me to move forward and place his ships to shoot at my IG if I did so. So naturally, I took a focus with advanced sensors and used my inertia dampeners. So I shot at the 4 hull Kirax with my IG, rolling 2 hits and re-rolling 2 dice from Predator using focus for hits. And he rolls 2 evades, and so he only takes 2 damage. He activates Tokyo and tried to shoot at my Y-wing, which he could not because of the 2 hard turn. So he shoots at my G95 with 1 hull left. He kills it with the first TLT. The inertia dampeners prevented his Z95 from shooting at my IG, so he shot at my Y-wing. One hit was met by an evade. He activates the Kirax fighter on the left, finds out it's the range 3 shot to the IG, and decides to shoot the Y-wing instead. Unfortunately, he only got 1 hit even with focus, and it was met by another evade. Another range 2 Kirax shot, and yet 1 more evade. So at this point, the triple evade rolls of my Y-wing has trumped the double evade rolls of his Kirax fighter in dodging my heavy lasers. I hereby award a Medal of Honor for my distinguished Gold Squadron pilot. My Y-wing shot at his Kirax fighter with no focus on the right because I am more likely to deal damage, and also because I believe my heavy lasers can deal the last 2 hull damage to finish off the Kirax next turn. Now I should have K-turn with the D95, but I did a 2 sharp turn, hoping to block his Tokyo from coming within range 2 of my IG. The Kirax did a hard turn left to avoid the rock and to chase my Y-wing. The other Kirax did a 2 sharp turn, and at this point of time, I was happy because I could just move a 1 forward maneuver from my IG and bump into it. However, I was wrong. My Y-wing did a safe maneuver and took a focus, I believe. Now here is a really brilliant move. He moved his Z95 to block my IG. Now this assures that he will be able to shoot at my Kirax at range 1, shoot with his Kirax and my IG at range 1. So my Z95 does block, but it achieves nothing with the block. So right now I'm going to get a range 1 shot by his Kirax, and the IG is going to be PS0. He activates Tokyo for combat, shooting my IG with the twin laser turrets. The first shot is evaded. He gains target lock and focus from the box crew.
And in the second shot, he spends focus and deals 1 shield damage to my IG. His Black Sun Soldier shoots at my binary pilot and he deals 1 hull damage. Now for the money shot, range 1 focus target lock Kirax against my tokenless IG. A perfect 4 hits and a total fluff on my part, resulting in 3 shields down and 1 hull damage. Well, don't we all hate these triple blank rolls? And I mean, I could just complain about it all day. I could go on about how his Kirax rolls 2 evade last turns and I wrote 0 evades and yada yada. And yes, actually his Kirax wrote another 2 evades later. But really this known phenomenon, this is a known psychological phenomenon called negativity bias. Now if I were to be honest about it, my Y-Wing did wrote 3 consecutive evades last turn. And much as I would have preferred my IG rolling the evades rather than my Y-Wing, the fact is that if I were to be frank with myself, my rolls were actually on the whole average. So anyway, my TLT took out his tokenless Kirax. My IG with Predator rerolls at range 1 dealt wrote 3 hits, but he wrote 2 evades, so however it makes up for the fact that he took a direct hit, so his Kirax is down to 1 health. So now we enter into round 7 quite even. Most of the heavy shooting is done. So we are reaching this stage where it becomes this kind of really fun, highly skilled, scrappy kind of dogfighting rather than the initial kind of approach play, formation, flying, target prioritization. Not many games I play last till this point. Most of the games I play, I won by the time it reaches this stage, because there's just so little knowledge about approach play, target prioritization, and so this is a part of the game that I'm trying to improve. Yeah, his Kirax fighter did a 1 sharp turn, which very nicely blocks my 3 S-loop. Tokyo moves in to ensure he is within range 1 or 2 to use his ability. I could take a S-loop to the left, taking an evade with advanced sensors. If I do that, the Kirax will have a range 1 shot at me. The D95 will get a shot at me, and the Tokyo will also get a shot at me, and I'm PS0. So I thought about it and I decided to do a boost. My maneuver was set to an S-loop, by the way. And after the boost, I'm going to do a S-loop through the rock. That means that I'm going to have to roll for the rock, but it means that I'll be out of range 1 and 2 of Tokyo marks, right? Which means that I will retain my PS6 and I will get to kill the Kirax first. I took 1 damage from the rock. Alright, I chose to shoot at the Kirax, which I'm sure was a mistake. I should have shot at Tokyo marks and allowed my TLT to finish off the Kirax. Tokyo activates and shoots at my IG. The first TLT misses, but he gains focus and target lock. The second TLT results in 3 hits. I needed 2 evades from 4 dice because Auto Thruster would provide the third, but I took 1 hull damage. There are many possibilities for my IG, but none of them good. It is inevitable that Tokyo will shoot at my IG, but I will have to rely on my Auto Thrusters there. Even if my green die and my Auto Thrusters fail me, as they always do, at least I will need to force Tokyo to have to shoot at my IG so that my Y-Wing and Z95 can return fire into Tokyo and hopefully kill it. So I need to not hit the rock and self-destruct, and I need to not get blocked by the Z95 under the rock, and I need to not get shot by the Z95. If I achieve all that, I will probably have a Y-Wing and almost dead Z95 against his single Black Sun Soldier, and that is a good endgame for me. even if my IG dies. So I did actually find the right maneuver. I managed to do a 2 sharp turn, not get hit by the rock, bump onto his K turn Z95, and so I am left with auto thrusters to defend myself against HWK. He takes a shot at my IG. First shot misses. Focus and target lock with box ability. Second shot he gets 3 hits, so I will need at least 2 evades with auto thrusters. I did not roll it, and my IG goes down. So now I really need to kill his top Q. He tries to kill my Z95. It would be bad if he manages to do so. He doesn't. And my Z95 squeezes in the last 3 points of damage with the help of a direct hit. The Y-Wings and the Z95 will clearly take out his single Z95, but it ended up closer than it should be, due in part to a combination of a nice maneuver and a complacent maneuver by me. In spite of that, it came down to the last roll of the dice, and I did win narrowly. The next episode, I will show you a game that was quite lopsided in my favor. A combination of having options during my approach play and good target prioritization against a not so well built squad won the game handily within 2 rounds of shooting. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned. I will talk about the concepts of approach play and target priority again